The mahogany table in the Thornton family library had hosted decades of power plays, but none quite like this. I sat quietly between my lawyers while Mark's family arranged themselves like a Victorian portrait of righteous indignation. His mother, Evelyn Thornton, stood at the head, diamonds glittering with each furious gesture. 5 years, she shrieked, pointing a manicured finger at me. 5 years of plotting and scheming, and now you think you'll walk away with half of everything? You trapped our poor son for money. Mark slumped in his chair, avoiding everyone's eyes. His father, William Thornton, nodded grimly beside him, while his sister Celeste smirked from across the table like she'd won the lottery. "Mom, please," Mark started weakly. "Don't you mom please me." Evelyn's voice could have shattered crystal. "We all know what happened here. Little Miss Nobody from nowhere saw a Thornton heir and spread her legs fast enough to." Mrs. Thornton, my lawyer, Harrison Blake, interrupted with the kind of calm that preceded earthquakes. "I think there's been a fundamental misunderstanding about the financial dynamics of this marriage." "Misunderstanding?" William scoffed. "What's to misunderstand? She was a bartender when they met. Now she wants half of Mark's trust fund, half of his investments, probably alimony for life. Classic gold digger playbook." I remained silent, fingers traced on the prenuptial agreement in front of me. The same one they'd never bothered to read. "Actually," Harrison said, pulling out his reading glasses with theatrical precision, "Miss Chun was indeed working as a bartender when she met your son. What you seem unaware of is that she was doing so at her own establishment." "Her own," Evelyn faltered. "Establishment? Yes. One of 12, actually." Harrison opened his briefcase. "Would you like to review the prenuptial agreement your son signed 5 years ago?" "Prenup?" Celeste leaned forward. "Mark, you got a prenup?" Mark sank lower. She insisted. "Of course she did." Evelyn rallied. "Probably some basic template to make it look legitimate while she—" "Page 1, Harrison interrupted, sliding copies across the table. "Asset disclosure. At the time of marriage, Mr. Mark Thornton's assets totaled approximately $1.2 million, primarily from his trust fund and a small investment portfolio." "That's," William started. "Page 2, Harrison continued. "Ms. Olivia Chen's disclosed assets. Commercial real estate holdings valued at $31 million. Liquid assets of $8 million. Annual income from her hospitality empire, $4.2 million. The silence that followed was so complete I could hear the grandfather clock in the corner marking seconds like a countdown. "That's—" Evelyn's voice cracked. "That's impossible." "Page 12, Harrison continued mercilessly. "Ms. Chen's additional holdings include 3 hotels in Singapore, a technology startup valued at $15 million, and a 30% stake in Chen Hospitality International, her family's company." I finally spoke, voice calm as still water. "My father started with 1 restaurant in Chinatown. By the time I was 18, we had 50 across Asia. I came to America to expand. The bartending." I smiled slightly. "I believe in understanding every level of the business. I was training staff at my newest location when Mark walked in." "But you never—" Mark's voice was plaintive. "You never told them." "I told you," I reminded him gently. "You chose not to share that information with your family. You enjoyed them thinking you were the provider." "This is ridiculous." Evelyn snatched the papers. "These numbers must be fabricated." My second lawyer, Jennifer Wu, spoke for the first time. "Would you like to see the Forbes article from 3 years ago? The hospitality heiress hidden in plain sight? Or perhaps the Wall Street Journal piece about the Chun family's expansion into North American markets?" She produced tablets, articles already loaded. There I was, shaking hands with city mayors at hotel openings. There I was, ringing the NYSE bell when our REIT went public. "But you," Celeste stared at me. "You drove a Honda Civic. You shopped at Target. You clipped coupons. I live within a budget I set for myself," I explained. "Just because I have money doesn't mean I need to waste it. The Civic is reliable. Target has good products. And everyone should use coupons, it's free money." "The prenup," William's voice was hollow. "What does it say about division of assets?" Harrison smiled like a shark. "Complete separation. What's his remains his, what's hers remains hers. No commingling of assets. No spousal support in either direction. Your son keeps his $1.2 million. Ms. Chin keeps her $58 million. 58. Evelyn sat down heavily. "Actually," Jennifer corrected, "that was 5 years ago." Current valuation is approximately $73 million. The Asian market has been very kind to us. There is one small matter, Harrison added. The marital home, the penthouse. Evelyn grabbed onto this. That's Mark's. His name is on the deed. Both names are on the deed, Harrison corrected. However, if you check the financial records, you'll see that Ms. Chun provided the down payment and has made 100% of the mortgage payments. Your son's contribution has been 0. Mark finally looked up. Olivia, please. We can work this out. We don't need lawyers. We can. Mark, I said gently. You charged $47,000 to my credit cards for your girlfriend. You told your family I was a gold digger while I was paying for your lifestyle. You let them treat me like trash at every family gathering. Girlfriend. Evelyn's voice pitched high again. Check his Instagram, I suggested. The trip to Cabo last month? The one he said was a business conference? Caitlin posted quite extensively. Lovely pictures. The room service receipts were particularly enlightening. Mark's face flushed deep red. That's not, Caitlin is just. Your mistress, I finished. Who you've been supporting with my money while your mother called me a fortune hunter. The irony is rather poetic. You knew, he asked, voice small. For 8 months. I was waiting to see if you'd come clean. Instead, you brought her to my hotel. Yes, I own that one too, and tried to get the employee discount. Celeste laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. Oh my God. Mark, you absolute idiot. Celeste. Evelyn snapped. What? He cheated on a woman worth $73 million who was bankrolling his entire life, and we've been calling her a gold digger? This is. She laughed again. This is actually hilarious. Ms. Chun has been extremely generous, Jennifer added. She's not seeking any of Mr. Thornton's assets, despite having legal grounds due to the infidelity. She simply wants a clean divorce and her properties returned to her sole ownership. Properties? William asked weakly. Plural. The penthouse, the Hamptons house, the Aspen cabin, I listed. All purchased with my funds, but put in both names because Mark insisted it looked better for his image. You own the Hamptons house? Evelyn's voice was faint. The one where we had the family reunion? Where I told everyone you were lucky to marry into property. That would be the one, yes. But you let me. She trailed off. Let you what? Humiliate me in my own home? Tell your friends I was after your son's money while sipping champagne I paid for? Yes, I let you. Every insult, every snide comment, every time you introduced me as Mark's wife, she was a bartender instead of by my name or accomplishments. Why? Celeste asked, seemingly genuinely curious. Because I wanted to see if Mark would ever defend me. If he'd ever correct the narrative. If he'd ever choose me over your approval. I looked at my soon-to-be ex-husband. He never did. Not once. This prenup, William tried one last angle. It must be voidable. Signed under duress or recorded, Harrison interrupted. We have video of the entire prenup negotiation. Ms. Chun insisted on transparency. She brought her lawyers, Mark brought his. Everyone agreed to the terms. In fact, he pulled out a tablet, tapped play. There on the screen was 5 years younger Mark, laughing with his lawyer. Yeah, separate assets, whatever. It's not like she has anything anyway. I'm just humoring her. What's she gonna do, take half of her tip jar? His lawyer's voice responded. You sure you don't want to disclose the actual numbers? Nah, Video Mark waved dismissively. Let her have her little prenup. Makes her feel important. Besides, once we're married, what's hers is mine anyway, right? The Mark in the room had gone pale. That's not. I didn't mean. You meant exactly what you said. I stood, gathering my papers. You thought I was nobody with nothing, and you could play the generous rich husband. The truth was too threatening to your ego. Olivia, wait. He reached for me. We have 5 years together. Doesn't that mean anything? It means I spent 5 years funding your lifestyle while your family insulted me. 5 years of paying for your mother's shopping sprees while she called me cheap. 5 years of covering your father's failed investments while he lectured me about financial responsibility. We didn't know. Evelyn protested. You didn't ask. You saw what you wanted to see, a poor girl who got lucky. It never occurred to you that your precious son might be the fortune hunter. How dare you? Mrs. Thornton, Jennifer interrupted. Given the circumstances, Ms. Chun could pursue fraud charges. Your son knowingly misrepresented the financial dynamics of their marriage to gain monetary benefit. That's textbook fraud. We won't be pursuing criminal charges, I said quickly. I have no interest in destroying Mark. I just want my life back. Your life? Mark stood too, suddenly angry. What about my life? What am I supposed to do? What you were doing before you met me, I suggested. Living off your trust fund. Though you might want to budget better. $1.2 million doesn't go as far as $73 million. You can't just my reputation. What will people say? The truth, probably. That you married up and fumbled the bag spectacularly. Celeste snorted. Fumbled is an understatement. You had a literal heiress paying your bills while you cheated with an Instagram model. This is going to be everywhere. Actually, I said, pulling on my coat, it won't. I have no interest in publicizing this. Mark's humiliation brings me no joy. I just want to move forward. That's unexpectedly gracious, William said quietly. It's practical. Dragging this out publicly helps no one. Sign the papers, we all move on. Mark keeps his trust fund and his dignity, such as it is. I keep my businesses and my sanity. But the houses, Evelyn started, were never yours to begin with, I finished. Though you're welcome to visit the Hamptons property. As paying guests. I'm turning it into a boutique hotel. As I headed for the door, Mark called out one last time. Olivia, this isn't fair. You tricked me. I turned back. How did I trick you, Mark? By letting you believe your own assumptions? By not correcting your family's classist delusions? By paying for everything while you took credit? You should have told me. I did tell you. First date. I said I own the bar. You laughed and said sure, and I own Microsoft. You never asked another question about my work, because you didn't care. You saw bartender and stopped looking. But, Mr. Thornton, Harrison interrupted. I suggest you sign the papers. The offer stands for 48 hours. After that, we pursue full disclosure of assets, including the funds you've hidden in offshore accounts. Offshore, Evelyn started. Did you think we wouldn't find those? Jennifer asked mildly. Ms. Chun hired a forensic accountant. Interesting how someone with family money needs to hide assets from his wife. Mark deflated entirely. I left them there, in their mahogany-wrapped confusion, and walked out into the crisp morning air. My driver, James, held the car door open. How did it go, Ms. Chun? Educational, I said, sliding into the back seat. Very educational. As we pulled away, my phone buzzed. A text from Celeste. I'm sorry. For all of it. I bought into the narrative because it was easier than thinking. You deserved better. I didn't respond. Some bridges, once burned, weren't worth rebuilding. Another text, this one from my father in Singapore. Saw the Forbes update about the divorce. Need us to fly over? I typed back. No need. It's handled. Just a $73 million misunderstanding. His response made me smile. That's my daughter. By the way, the sole property closed yesterday. Portfolio just hit $80 million. Evelyn Thornton thought I'd trapped her son for money. The truth was, I'd been trapped by love into subsidizing mediocrity. But every trap has a key. Mine was a prenup that told the truth, even when everyone preferred the lie. Especially the man who'd promised to have and to hold, for richer or poorer, as long as he thought I was the poorer one. The divorce finalized 60 days later. Mark contested nothing, probably because Celeste convinced him not to make things worse. I heard through mutual friends that he'd moved back in with his parents, citing temporary cash flow issues. Caitlin dumped him the day the bank froze his credit cards. I celebrated my divorce at my newest hotel opening in Vancouver, surrounded by actual family and friends who'd known my worth all along. Not the monetary kind, but the real kind. Though having $80 million didn't hurt either. Especially when the people who'd called me a gold digger were left with nothing but fool's gold and a prenup that told no lies. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.